This is the third and the most complicated of the problems that we're going to be looking at. This is Bukusu from Kenya. This one's hard because there's actually two processes going on, so we're going to have to discern which the two processes are. We do know that we're only going to be dealing with one thing, and that is the verbal prefix n, which must be attached to a verb stem. So the prefix means it goes before. The pronunciation of the prefix depends on the nature of the consonant to which it attaches. It's the same as the cats and dogs in English, except that in English we're dealing with suffixes rather than prefixes, but the same idea. So we know that the pronunciation is going to change, and we have to see how it's going to change exactly and how the nature of the consonant to which it attaches affects the prefix. We don't have to worry about anything that goes before. We'll only have to look at what comes after the prefix. So our research questions are: how does the nasal differ before stops, fricatives, and affricates? And what are the two processes at work here? As usual, let's organize our data and look at things one at a time. So let's look at the prefix that is pronounced as a n. There's only 3 words in our data that have that, and in all of them, the n attaches to a d sound. So let's keep that in mind. Continuing to organize our data, now let's look at the m. Again, not a whole lot of words here, and all of the words that have the bilabial m allophone attaches to the b. So far, we've noticed that there seems to be a matching going on. N is dental, D is dental, M is bilabial, B is bilabial. Important. We could start making predictions. And looking at still more data, we have only 2 words that show the palatal nasal ny, and that attaches to the affricate j. Okay, so we could see a pattern forming: nasal to nasal, bilabial to bilabial, palatal to palatal. So we can hypothesize that there's some kind of assimilation going on. So let's test. What happens when we attach to velar consonant? And again, only 2 words here, but they do support our earlier hypothesis. The n prefix here is pronounced as a velar nasal, the n sound, and it attaches to velar consonants. So far we can see that the n prefix assimilates to the following consonant. So it goes dental to dental, bilabial to bilabial, palatal to palatal, velar to velar. Now, we know that n is a verbal prefix, so it's not optional. It's not like you can attach it or not, okay? So let's see some examples, because there are places where it's missing, and let's see if we can find a pattern there. These are all the words that are missing the n, and it's interesting. The words all begin with voiceless fricatives, s, h, and f. So we can argue that the n is deleted when it's before a voiceless fricative. So the conclusion is that the n prefix assimilates to a following voiced consonant that is not a fricative, and the n prefix is deleted before an unvoiced fricative. And I think the fact that it's unvoiced is important, because there's no unvoiced version of a n. So if it's going to assimilate, it's going to have to basically disappear. So we really have assimilation and deletion going on. Those are the 2 processes.